Hi, Alice here at Lowe's. I'm looking to buy just the right plants for my Mother's Day basket. I want to have plants that are easy, durable, simple to obtain to make a basket that you can share with your mother or your grandmother or other mothers in your life. I'm looking for the plant's color because Mother's Day has some symbolic colors that we want to think about with the plant selection. It also has some plants that are associated with Mother's Day in the US. The most popular and familiar is the carnation, and that is in the genus Dianthus. We hear about dianthus, and a lot of times we don't make the connection between dianthus and carnation. There are many kinds of dianthus. The one that we're most familiar with with Mother's Day is the double flowered. That's the flower form. Other kinds are more open faced. Some have wavy petals or almost like little splits along the petals so that they appear to be a different kind of plant, but they're all in the dianthus category. Most of the colors of dianthus are pink, red, white, and various shades of pink and red that have been developed over the years. Extremely popular plant, and it can be used as a bedding plant for cold season, which I have in my Mary garden, and it can also be used as a border plant. Some of the dianthus grow low to the ground and are spreading. Few are perennial, some are annual, some are even biannual, which would be a 2-year lifetime, an annual, a 1-season lifetime, and a perennial, multiple seasons, 3 years or more. Colors that are associated with Mother's Day and that have different symbolic meanings. The most common that we think of, white, and that represents unconditional love. And it's also for remembrance of mothers who have passed. So that's one type of carnation color. The next is pink, and there are all varieties, shades of pink that are available. The pink represents a living mother and a celebration of a living mother or a grandmother or another mother in your extended family. And it also represents unconditional love. There's red that's associated with Mother's Day, yellow, and even green. So I thought green, and it represents a mother's connection to the earth, like the earth mother. I thought that's great if you're going to have a living basket because you can have a couple of plants that are in the representative colors, such as a mixture of pink and yellow or white and yellow, or a flower that has yellow centers and white petals to represent those colors. Or you can have various shades of pink through red in your basket. And then you can have some green foliage as an offset for that. So we're going to use the design principles for a container for interest, which would be a plant for thrill, which would be height, a plant for fill, which would be more bushy and fill in, and a plant for spill, so something that would spill over the edge of the pot. And that way your eye goes from height through the middle down to the bottom. And it's a very pleasing design feature. So let's go check out what's available. The nursery here is flooded with plants for this growing season. Many options. If you don't want to use carnation, there are vines that you can buy. Here's the red one, beautiful. They're a very popular vine. And If you've got deer, I'll warn you that they come and they eat it. But a lot of people enjoy growing it. It comes in a variety of colors from deep red to white. And there's even a slight blush of pink. Other options are the impatient that are now coming, hydrangeas. That's another flower plant that's associated with Mother's Day. And this one already comes in a pot with the colors and with an ivy, which would provide the green and the spill. So you've got the hydrangea growing as a bush, which would fill in and also grow high and provide the height for the thrill. Other choices are roses that are blooming at this time of year. Ever popular petunia, easy to grow. They don't last into the summer, but they would make a nice addition to a basket and could provide either fill or spill. Daylilies are blooming at this time, and that would provide yellow if you want to go with a yellow, white, red mixture or some other combination of color. A mixed basket of dianthus, pink and red and white for fill. I am pleased with the outcome. It took a while, but I got the carnation, and it's a pet, and they're small containers, but I can collect a few for the pot and a sedum, beautiful full sun, and a Stella d'Oro daylily. It's going to be yellow. Here I have pink, red, white, and yellow, and green. For Mother's Day, beautiful, and they are all full sun plants, so they'll be able to grow together in a pot or in a garden bed. The sedum will be to the front, the dianthus will be to the front, and the Stella d'Oro, it doesn't get that high, but it'll be higher, so it's a medium, so it will grow behind the two of them. So I've got frill, fill, and fill, and different shades of green, different leaf structures. The flowers are beautiful, and an interesting leaf structure for this sedum. Now it's time to go pot them up and get my Mother's Day living plant pot ready. I ended my shopping spree at Michael's. I came to see if I could find some kind of a container. And these, they're not exactly an Easter basket, but they caught my eye. And the plants, I can put them in the bottom and raise them up a little bit. They also had extra decoration. And look what I found. Double carnation, yellow and pink. So those will just highlight things in my pot. And it's actually a basket. Packing up, ready to go home. And I think that my little Mother's Day basket is going to work out just fine. I also got a florist fun block to raise things, and I will waterproof things when I put them in, and we'll see how it all comes together when I get home. So here's my basket. Here's some of the decorative. Got my foil, and I got the florist block that you use to stick these artificial things into to hold them into place. And I put some foil at the base to catch water because I've got a couple of weeks until Mother's Day. If I water the plants and a little water drips out, then it won't ruin anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put the block in. And so that'll sit very nicely right on the end. And this is going to be the thrill because it'll grow large. And the sedum, which is already hanging over its pot, is going to go on the other end like that. And that's the spill. Both of these are full sun plants. I tried to get all plants that have the same sun requirements. The dianthus, they're also full sun. They can tolerate partial shade, but they don't bloom as well. I discovered my dianthus container. I was hoping to just use the container and not have to cut it. But because it's 12, it actually fills up the whole pot. So first I'm going to just cut off, deadhead some of the spent blooms. And with this dianthus, it will rebloom if you deadhead it. And even after all of it is bloomed, you can even cut the whole plant back and it'll put out a fresh growth and more blooms. So you can have blooms through the summertime, although it's not a big fan of hot temperatures. Usually dianthus is in the grouping that they call cold season or cool season bedding plants because they're annuals and they do well in a cooler temperature. I'm just cleaning this up so the presentation looks nice. And there are many buds that will continue to come out on these plants. So whoever gets this gift will have beautiful dianthus that they can put in their garden on the border, or they can transplant them into a larger pot after Mother's Day and just keep enjoying them on your porch or on your kitchen steps. If you plant them into the ground, you can enjoy them in one of your borders in your garden. And I really am pleased that I was able to get this package of plants because it has all the colors for Mother's Day. The pinks, variety of pinks, reds, and white. And then I did choose the daylily, the Stella d'Oro, because it's yellow. And that was one of the other colors from Mother's Day. Just going to trim off the yellow leaves to pretty up the plant. But this is going to be a beautiful plant, and it has healthy root coming out the bottom. So whoever gets it will hopefully put it into a larger pot or into the ground after Mother's Day. It has blooms coming up, and the reason they're called daylilies is because the blooms last for a day, but they are prolific bloomers and they are repeat bloomers. They grow to 1.5 feet height and about the same width. They form a nice clump, and you can keep them in the ground in the clump, and maybe every 3 years divide them. If you have a lot of deer, however, deer do graze on daylilies. So if you have them in a container up by your house and you have a way to keep the deer away, then they will be a beautiful bloomer for you throughout the summer. They're also, when they're established, they're fairly drought tolerant. Sedum doesn't have much information other than it's called sedum lemon coral, a good border plant, full sun. Interesting chartreuse color and interesting leaf. So that's why I got it, was because of the color and the leaf structure. You can see how big the dianthus package is. It would take up the whole basket. So I'm going to cut the container that is holding the plants in half. And now I have 2 sections. So I'm going to wrap this one in foil. Actually, I'm going to do that for all of them. This will help keep the plant moist. Oh my goodness, it's going to fit perfectly in the middle. So I'm going to quickly wrap the others. What's nice is this is plastic and expandable. So this just slips right down in here. And there you have it. I'm going to see how this looks. I'm not a big fan of fake flowers, but these are a decoration. And they happen to be a double carnation, and they happen to be yellow. So it was, wow, that's one of the colors. That's the color of the daylilies. And the carnation is identified with Mother's Day, the most popular plant. Now, I don't know that I even have to place them into the block. And I have to confess, I am not a craft or handy person, but this has been easy and fun to do. So we have yellow flowers here, and that fills in that space. And I can put yellow on the other side. We'll see how that looks, because I also have pink, and I don't want to overpower the whole thing with these artificial flowers, but they're a nice little touch. So this can go in here. It doesn't need to fit into anything. We have pink carnations, doubles to go in. These were 99 cents at Michael's, and I thought that was certainly inexpensive, and it set the tone for the basket. It's clear. This is a Mother's Day pink, and I can just slip it in. I don't even have to stick it into the florist block unless I want to. And if the idea is that this is raffled off at the garden club meeting, so I'm going to put another one and we'll see how the final product looks. What's nice, you can always just take these out. And then you've got the live plant. So happy Mother's Day. Here's your live plant Mother's Day basket. Easy to do. You just put the plants with the pot in the basket and do whatever decoration around it you want. You choose plants that are similar sun needs and similar water needs, and there it is. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you make a live plant basket for your mother or for mothers in your life, I hope that you enjoy the process and that it's as easy for you as it was for me. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Garden Yay! See you in the next video.